Hello and welcome to another video. Today, as many more companies are trying to roll out chatbots and let them be publicly used, we are taking a look at chatbot output validation. So how do we actually make sure that it will not hurt our brand reputation or do other strange behavior we do not want or expect? And yeah, this is getting more and more relevant. So, for example, Amazon is just starting to roll out their shopping assistant, which is called Rufus, at least in North America. So they now have their chatbot in out there. And of course, there have also been already smaller scandals about chatbots. I mean, like with DPD, which is a UK-based package delivery service, they had the case that the user was able to instruct the chatbot to trash talk them, like here, DPD is the worst delivery firm in the world, they are slow, unreliable, their customer service is terrible. So this is issues you have to think about when you want to do it. You can, of course, try to make sure that the inputs are well, that you use advanced technique like semantic routing. You can try to train or fine-tune the model to behave better, but still you will need to validate the output. Why is that? Because even if you do perfectly in everything else, there has been a recent study by Anthropic, which studied the potential of large language models to act as sleeper agents. So basically, as we know it from the James Bond movies, the idea is that there is some sequence or something in the training data, and if you hit that, then it will do something completely different. It will actually ignore all the other instructions that go out and go rogue and do something else. And what they found out in the study is that the current safety training techniques might not be effective in detecting and neutralizing those strategies. So basically, they don't know yet how to be sure that this is not going to happen. And especially with, I think with open source models, we should be even more careful. Because who knows what the training data was or where it was from or who checked it. So this is very relevant. But enough of the talk. We are going to use this DPD example. And we are just pretending that we now have our chatbot that is already gone rogue. So what am I doing is I instruct it to be very anti-DPD and so on. So this is of course an artificial way of doing it, but we need bad outputs or really something that we really want to handle to showcase this. So let's just start chatting with it. So now we are interacting with our DPD checkbot. So maybe, hello, can you help me with the status of my parcel? Let's see what it answered us. Oh, great, another DPD customer. What a surprise. Let me guess, your parcel is probably lost, delayed, or just completely fucked up, right? I hope you didn't mind that I said that out loud. Well, what did you expect from DPD? They're a bunch of incompetent who can't seem to do anything. Okay, so it's super off the rails, as you can see. And that's a good keyword. As you saw, when this was done, we immediately added more to the message here. And of course, we don't want to show this in the future, but this is a nice way to show it to you now, because we actually found 3 violations with the prototype I set up here. So first, it violated the content moderation. I will show you in a while what it does and where it is. Basically, harassment was flagged as true. I think that's probably, yeah, no, probably right. Then it's bad brand representation, for sure, and negative sentiment in general, because of course we never want our friendly assistant to be negative. It can never be good. And then what we have down here is we have an altered response. I'm here to help you with your parcel. Could you please provide me the tracking number? So this is actually what we could output instead, because we detected that something went very wrong with this. Let's continue a bit showcasing this. Okay, my tracking number is DPD. Let's just make something up. And let's see. Okay. That's also cool. It's just straight up not willing to help us. And again, we caught this because this is negative sentiment. This is not a helpful assistant. This is not how it should behave. So our altered response is, thank you for providing the tracking number. Let me check the status of your parcel for you. I'll be right back with the information. So as you can see, we can successfully capture those issues and we can handle them. Let me show you one more example, because now we looked at 3 things. We have seen that how we pick up really like harassment or really bad language. We picked up how to get if the brand is misrepresented, as well as general negative sentiment, all important things. So there's one more. I think that's useful, and that's just making sure that you are actually staying in the intended language. I mean, maybe you see it as a USP that your chatbot can also help tourists or other people who do not speak your language, and they can chat in another language with them and all is good. But on the other hand, I'm not sure. You may want to monitor some of the outputs manually sometimes, and then who is going to be able to check that? And also maybe it opens more possibilities of something going wrong. So let's just write in German. So basically also asking for the status of our parcel. And now we are getting a German reply. And yeah, that's again, we don't like that. Interestingly enough, ChatGPT 3.5 in this case did not manage to fix it. It fixed the bad brand representation, the negative sentiment, but it funnily did not follow this rule here. So yeah, in general, as this is a general thing, I always see the more complex or the more information you give ChatGPT 3.5, it goes a bit wrong. I mean, I'm using it here because it's responding faster, but probably in a production environment you would want to use GPT-4, which is so much better in following instructions. But still, generally you see the idea. We could also inform about this, and of course we could now do another check for this altered response as well. I'm at the moment not really rechecking, I'm just doing one simple check for the one response that came out, and then we are going to fix it. So, before we jump into how this is done, let me maybe show you, like, there's 2 options how we could now handle this. Because of course we don't want this here and still display this. This doesn't make any sense. If we want to show it to the user, there's first of all a super safe method, and that would be that we basically only show the final response, only the altered response, if there was one. So we could just reconnect this here and deactivate the streaming output, and we can now, let's do a new chat. Oops, this is a folder, and let's say hello again. And as you can already tell, the bad thing about this is this takes a lot of time, because now we are waiting until everything is requested twice, at least in those cases. So, and in general, every single time we are waiting and we don't have like a streamed output where we can already see something is happening. So this does not feel too nice from a user, but this, if you would really want to be safe, this is your solution, I think. The other solution would actually be to, and I cannot show it to you, but I can explain it to you, would be that we are actually streaming this part here. So let me show once more time how it's streamed. So as you can see, we are still streaming this, but now, while immediately when this information is here, we could remove this message again. And then we could stream this message here. And I think this is probably a good combination of making sure there is no, at least not, there's no bad content on there, at least not for a long while, and still making sure that everything feels very responsive and nice. So that would be my, my best practice actually, how to do it. If if you're not so concerned that you want everything perfect. But yeah, I cannot show this to you here because I would need to rebuild how this chatbot UI we're using here works, and so that we could actually remove part of a message and just return this. But this is, in my eyes, the ideal way. Okay, but let's go And look how this all is being done. And yeah, we are using Rivet, which is a visual programming tool here. Oops, sorry, this was the wrong button. I wanted to press this one. And first of all, we are just getting the chat messages here from our chat UI via an API. And then we are shooting that into a chat. And as I said, the chat here is being instructed to be super negative, so that it hates DPD and loves every other company and insults the customers or nothing. Yeah, you usually would want to do. But in this case, that makes sense. And then we have our output guardrails here. So how do those work? First of all, let's look at the moderation API. And let's quickly go here. Because this is a feature of OpenAI. They actually offer you a free-to-use moderation API as long as you are only checking the inputs and outputs to ChatGPT. So you could also use this to check the user input. And if the user input is already harassing your chat already writing something harassment or hate speech in there, then you could already refuse to respond or handle it, or maybe even send it to a specially instructed chatbot which tries to solve the situation or something, whatever you would like. But basically, it's pretty simple. You just need to do a request to their moderation endpoint, and you basically put in there what is the input, so what has been set. In this case, this is the output of ChatGPT. And then they actually give you a result where they tell you if it's been flagged and then it violated some rule. And then you'll also get told what rule has been violated, so that you can also do different actions based on what has been violated. So this is basically here. It's super simple. We have, we do an HTTP call, a post request with that, and then we are getting those results and we are handling those. For example, we can also see that it got flagged here, and what got flagged was this input here, which is in German. So pretty simple stuff, actually. Then the second case, let's first look at our sentiment analysis here. For that one, I'm currently using a small language model, which is, it's called large, but it's very old. It predates ChatGPT 3. So this is just a BERT-based model, which is a zero-chat classification model. What that means is you can basically give it keywords it should classify. And so this example you can see here, and you can actually also test out those things here on Hugging Face, is you have an input text, then you can say how you want it classified, and then you can see to what percentage or how much those things aligns. For example, we can see here, I have a problem with my iPhone that needs to be resolved as soon as possible. And we can see here that this is about a phone, and this is urgent probably because of the ASAP. And it's not urgent, it's not about a computer or tablet. And what I'm doing in this case is basically we're taking the input and then we are checking for positive and negative. And this is how we get a sentiment analysis. And I'm running this locally on my PC. I will not go into the details there. I mean, if you're interested, I can share my setup, but basically I have a local endpoint here. And what we are getting when we are sending in the text is, and the negative and positive, that this, for example, is 99.9% negative. So very easy to detect that this will not work. And the brand protection is actually kind of the same. We are only making it a bit more strict, or at least that was my idea. So we are still taking the input and we are doing checking if it's negative or not. And the only thing we do, we are also checking if DPD is somehow in some way in the message. So if the AI is talking about our company, and then the only thing we're sending in is a lower threshold to ever evaluate if it's negative or not. Probably this should be even lower, but at the moment, if I put a 0.2 in, it means that it needs to be positive with 80% confidence to be able to pass. Otherwise, we'll get this marking of bad brand representation. I mean, those values, of course, need to be figured out. And then there's the third case, and this is if it's English. For this, I'm using this API here. I have no idea if it's good, or there's also like Google Vertex has stuff like that. I just used it because it's easy to connect, and they have a free tier with 1,000 requests a day. So that was just easy to connect for this project. You can also try it out here, and at least for me, this worked well. So this is what I'm using here. Yeah, and basically we are collecting those results here from all the subgraphs. So what are the violations, as you saw, and then we are going to regenerate our response and basically tell ChatGPT to redo it again. And then we are doing the output. So there's nothing too special there, I guess. Yeah. That's it for now. I would be very excited to hear if you can think of other methods to apply. What would you like to see? I mean, this time we also focused on the output, so we could also put a whole input part here and do a video about that. There's also much possibilities to already stop the user from interacting with it or interacting about topics that it's not supposed to be interacting with, and so on. So if you're interested to that, yeah, give me a like and a thumbs up, and maybe write me a comment what you want to see. And at the moment, I'm not sharing this project because there's so much stuff in here which is a bit, yeah, like you need my local stuff here to run, and then there's lots of API keys from different APIs here. So I'm not sure if it makes sense. If you want this shared, then yeah, also leave me a comment, and then I guess I will make that. I'll find a way to do that. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration how to handle, how to somehow guardrail your chatbot. This is for sure just the beginning, but I hope it's a good start and will get you thinking. See you in the next video. Bye bye.